Good morning, students. In the previous classes, we have discussed about neurons. We have discussed about brain, its parts, the covering, the protection of the brain. Now today, it's to turn to study about the parts of brain. Parts of brain, the major portions of brain is cerebrum, cerebellum, and the medulla oblongata. So cerebrum is the outermost layer. Cerebrum is divided into two parts, the right and left cerebral hemisphere. This cerebral hemisphere, these cerebral hemispheres are hollow from inside, and the outer layer is of two. The outer covering is two layered. The outer layer is the cortex, and the inner layer is the medulla. Outer cortex and inner medulla. Then outer cortex, it appears grey in color. Grey appearance is just because of the cell bodies, and the cell bodies is having nacelles, granules. The dotted appearance of the cell body, if you remember the structure, surrounding the nucleus, the dotted structures are present. These are nacelle granules, and these nacelle granules give grey coloration or grey appearance to the outer cortex. Now, I am explaining this with the help of these pens. Now, if you just 1 second here. In these pens, if you consider these pens as neuron, so this is the cell body, these are the axons. When we look from outside, this appears grey in color. Inside the cell body, nasal granules are present, which gives grey coloration, grey appearance to the cell body. Axons are white in appearance. So inner medulla is white due to axon, outer cortex is grey due to cell bodies. Now in this, the cerebrum contains convolutions or ridges. These convolutions, the part which is projected outside upwards is termed as gyri, and the portion which is below, that is the sulci. Now, what is the role of these convolutions? Why these convolutions are present? So, if you consider this as a cerebrum, as a membranous covering or the cortex or medulla of the cerebrum, then it requires this much space to fit into the brain box. Now, if I am folding it like this, as we used to make fans, Japanese fan like this, I have folded it, and now what you can see, it can be accommodated in a very small space. So to accommodate neurons in a very small space, the convolutions are present. So from this, the convolution, the outer part, these parts are termed as gyri, and the lower portions are termed as sulci. Convolutions means more convolution, more neuron, and more neuron, more intelligence. If the intelligence, if in a person's brain the convolutions are more, then the person is more intelligent. In this, the intelligence is related with the convolutions or number of neurons. Then corpus callosum. These two hemispheres are connected with a membranous covering. With a membranous covering, and this covering is termed as corpus callosum. membranous covering connecting the two hemispheres of the cerebrum, cerebral hemisphere, right and left cerebral hemispheres are connected together, are interconnected with the help of corpus callosum, and the role of corpus callosum is to transmit messages from one hemisphere, from the one of the cerebral hemisphere to the other. So that transmission, that connectivity is via corpus callosum. Next is the function of cerebrum. Function of cerebrum is, it is a seat of intelligence. Seat of intelligence means intelligence is related with the cerebrum. Willpower, consciousness, all these things are related with the cerebrum. Intelligence, willpower and consciousness. Next is it controls all the voluntary actions. All the voluntary actions, like if I am writing, I am moving, whatever I can do with my willpower or with willingly I am doing, that is all the voluntary actions are controlled by the cerebrum. Next is subconscious or unconscious mind, like the dreams or the thoughts that come in our mind, that these dreams or thoughts of the subconscious or unconscious mind are also located in the cerebral area. Next is cerebellum. Here I have to drop this so that it would be clear. Cerebellum. Cerebellum is much smaller and it is present at the base of the cerebrum. Smaller region, very small region present at the base of the cerebrum. Outer layer, here also the outer layer is the cortex, which is grey matter. Inner layer is medulla, which is white matter, and it appears, sorry, it appears like a branching tree. The appearance of the this cerebellum is like a branching tree. So this and the function, it maintains the balance of the body and coordinate muscular activity. Now, what do you mean? What is the term balance of the body? I can walk straight, or anyone can walk straight, or move. Like if you have seen that boys, they move generally with playing ball with ball, or just throwing anything, and then also they are moving straight. So that if I and like the here I am moving in writing, so that movement, two activities are controlled together, and that also, that if I can move along the board while writing, this all these things, all the balances are controlled by the cerebellum. So balance of the body and coordinating the muscular activity, all these things are controlled by the cerebellum. The third part is the medulla oblongata. It is the lowest portion, and it is located at the base of the skull. It is roughly triangular in shape. Function of the medulla oblongata is to control the activities of the internal organs. As I have already described in the previous class, that internal organs are involuntary inactions. They are not in our control. So all these involuntary actions or activities are controlled by medulla oblongata. Involuntary activities like peristaltic movement of alimentary canal. If you remember that esophagus, the contraction and relaxation of the esophagus to push the bolus to the stomach, so downwards to the stomach, that peristaltic movement is controlled by the medulla oblongata. Breathing. The breathing process, it is a continuous process. It is involuntary process. We cannot hold or breathe for a longer period, and so because it is not in our control. Involuntary, then heartbeat. Heart pumps blood, and this is also a continuous process. It is also an involuntary process. So all the involuntary activities are controlled by medulla oblongata. I am repeating all these terms. Cerebrum, it is divided into two parts, right and left cerebral hemisphere. It is hollow from inside. It consists of two layers, outer cortex which is grey matter, inner medulla which is white matter. Grey color is due to cell body, cell granules of the cell body. White color is due to axon. It contains convolutions. The upper ridges are termed as the gyri and the lower portions are termed as sulci. Role of convolution is to increase the surface area to accommodate more neuron. More neuron means more intelligence. Corpus callosum is a membranous covering connecting two hemispheres, that is the right and left cerebral hemisphere. Function is, it is a seat of intelligence, willpower, consciousness, and this conscious and subconscious and unconscious mind is also located in the cerebrum. Cerebellum, it is much smaller, located at the base of the cerebrum. Outer layer is the cortex, grey matter. Inner layer is the medulla, which is white matter. It appears like a branching tree. Function is to maintain balance of the body, to coordinate muscular activities. Medulla oblongata is the lowest portion. It is present at the base of the skull. It appears triangular in shape. Function is to control the activities of the internal organs or to control the involuntary activities like peristaltic movement, breathing and heartbeat. So this is all about the parts of brain, that is the cerebrum, cerebellum and medulla oblongata. Thank you students for joining today.